Okay, when I first started playing, I was using an Xbox remote, and I noticed that that actually worked pretty well driving an SRV. And then I got myself a HOTAS, which is far better when flying the ship, but not so great when driving the SRV. Then I went and upgraded myself to VR and realized when I'm in VR, it is incredibly difficult to switch from HOTAS to controller, controller to HOTAS, and have all the bindings I needed on the controller. So I went looking for different ideas. I thought a steering wheel with like a regular race sim setup might actually be a good idea. The problem I ran into is I had no way to control myself when I would fly up in the air in the SRV. So I was like, well, what about a flight yoke? And then I was trying to figure out how I would control it with that. So I went and I got one of those honeycomb alpha flight sticks, and I used my rudder pedals for gas. My right pedal, just like normal in an American car. My left pedal is my brake and also my reverse. So as soon as I hit it, all I gotta do is hold it. I'm gonna stop. Just hold both my pedals together, and that's how I go in reverse. Now if I let go of my primary gas, it just doesn't go anywhere. So what I did for in the air, there's a button back here that I actually put to boost. So when I boost, I can control side to side, and it's oh shit. In VR, it's a lot of fun, and I found that it's way easier to stick my landings. I did not have that easy of a time before. Even with flight assist off, the thing is still incredibly easy to control, maneuver. I always get nervous at this part. Come in. Still. I don't know how good of a driver you are of your SRV, but generally I end up flipping them. I end up spinning, especially when I use a HOTAS. I found that just to be terrible. Some of the best features I liked about this, though, is not only did I have the full range of control, but I've got a lot of buttons that I can use. As you can see, my ship's going away with that one. I don't know what I got this one programmed. Nothing for that one. My cargo scoop. I actually have my cargo scoop programmed to where it's a held toggle. Because this is a toggle switch, rather than having to push the button and then undo it, it's one single motion. Unlike my turret, I've got my turret up here. My turret, I actually have to do twice. I could set it to the same way, which I'm going to. I just haven't got around to it yet. My night vision. Not really point. No point during the day. Combat mode, analysis mode. I find a lot of these to have like on the fly like this, it's pretty easy because they're pretty good. If you're doing something and say you're trying to scan or you want to switch, and you got it right there. I programmed the turret to be controlled with this as well. There's nothing for me to scan with my scanners up here, but if there was, I would just switch my mode. I have my fire group actually set to here, so I can switch my fire groups with this button. I can change targets with this. Unfortunately, I don't have any targets right now. I'll call back my ship. When that comes in, I'll show you how the targeting works. Let me get out of the turret mode. I have all the bindings for all your UI panels. Just on... Oh gosh. That always scares me. In VR, I just find it to be a lot of fun to have a helmet on, to be using pedals and a pseudo steering wheel. I think it's way better than using the HOTAS. But yeah, so if I want to target, it's right there. I've cycled front target, previous target, but I don't have a previous target. So when I go down here, I can control just like you would on... If you're running a HOTAS, you probably have a button very similar. so I can control whatever I need to on whatever menu I'm on. I use this boost button back here is what I actually have put in for my select button. That way I don't accidentally shoot something that I think I'm trying to select, because my fire buttons are actually up here. I don't have anything mapped to this guy. Really, your mapping is entirely up to you. Handbrake is also one of those that I set to a toggle. My drive assist is set to a held, because I find that to be easier, and I just leave it on. It's on by default. I shut it off by default and made it to where I actually have to manually hold it down. And I like that better because it just gives me more feel of immersion. I got my headlights. But yeah, I just find that literally driving is a lot of fun. And then, like I said, it's easy to control. This was the hardest part for me, to switch from driving to flying on, even on a HOTAS, because you went from totally different controls. But this doesn't feel like that, because you're still just steering. Another thing that you can do with it, which I find to be awesome, is if you just pull back just a little, but you're driving. What is the gravity? Oh, I have barely any gravity. Going a little too fast. Which is another good thing about having pedals. You can control your speed. I know you can do the same with a throttle on the side. But if you're a car guy, this is a lot of fun. It didn't take a lot to map it. That was pretty simple. It worked the same way as mapping a standard controller. The hardest part, I think, really was getting whether or not you want it inverted or regular. I think hold on. I don't want to hit my ship. I think I inverted mine. Hold on, let's check. So all you do is just you come over here, go into your controls. I have I did a custom config file, so all my controls when I'm on my VR stuff is this. But if I want to just sit at my desktop and only use my Xbox remote, I actually have a whole nother setup for just that. I made this one for when I was just using my HOTAS, but I've expanded since then. Let's see. So yeah, you just pick the axis. This would be the steering, joy axis, roll. So I wanted it to be the same way. I inverted the roll. I believe I inverted the pitch as well, because I wanted it to feel more like I was actually flying. Discard the change. I don't know what I did. Yeah, get rid of that. I don't know what I did. So yeah, that's about it. I highly recommend this, especially if you use VR, because when you stick on the helmet, you're not going to look down and see your hands. You're only going to be looking around, and it's going to feel like you're actually driving. And when you start flipping, it's quite fun too. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.